Number one, number two, first.
My name is Louis.
Yep,
I'm from New Hampshire.
good.
Oh,
I was also going to ask that those of you that asked a question, please offer what year model you've got, what floor plan you got, and about how many miles.
That was
because
coming.
There are differences.
No, you know what it is.
There's differences, although small, between all of them. So if you
Yeah.
would identify that, please.
Yep, so I have a question, but
Yes.
Tricia, what year is it?
Oh, four.
04
QD.
QD.
He just went over 100,000
Yeah,
miles.
QD, okay, good.
Yep.
So-
And my question is, we were in a hurry to get here from Florida, Fort Myers area, and I just threw all my bags inside on the floor. And so we drove, you know, the mileage, and we got here. I grabbed my bag and I almost burnt my hand. And she said, "Oh, the transmission's right there." But when you're talking about the exhaust with the pinhole coming up through, then the muffler doesn't sound loud.
It'll
But
be,
could it be?
yeah, the muffler will be about 2 feet behind the passenger's feet.
No, that's where it's hot.
Yeah, that's just,
If you happen to have a Hershey bar laying there, it'll get melted.
Oh, yeah.
that's about, it's kind of in the middle, I
Yeah.
believe.
Kind
A
of,
couple feet
More
back
towards the
from where the
passenger
batteries
side.
yeah,
were.
it's about this far inland.
Right.
And that's why I say lay down with the engine just started, so it's not real hot. You won't burn yourself, but it's still enough that you can feel the exhaust gas going up. That's what I would strongly suggest doing.
But the transmission's not right there.
No,
No,
transmission's under the dash.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
you're not gonna feel that kind of heat from the transmission.
No.
You got- Your transmission will be fried before they.
So you
it
have
gets
the
to that point.
transmission, you have the
Well,
engine,
that's what I
the
think.
transmission, and then the two front wheels are almost all in line
Oh,
with each other.
okay.
Shouldn't there be a heat shield somewhere?
There are numbers
There are
of
some.
heat shields all over that frontal area, but as I remember, between the muffler and the bottom of the floor, there is not a
There
heat shield.
should be. I don't understand that.
The newer model
can add them.
cars and
You
stuff
can add
do
it?
have those,
Yeah,
but
because
would
it
be-
does get warm there.
Fred and Jerry Houston, Melbourne, Florida. We have a 2000 HD, 98,000 miles. I do have a question, but before I have the question, I have a little tiny burn mark in my carpet where that exactly happens. And the muffler was replaced for
Good
that.
for
So
you. Glad
we
you
have
caught
we
it
have the
before
scar
you
to
did
show.
damage.
My question's not mechanical. My question's on Skylight. As some of you know, we had a leak on our Skylight with all that rain the other day.
Sorry.
Now I know I can recaulk it and redo it and everything, but I want to take it off.
Okay.
I want to eliminate it. So my question is, what do you recommend I put over it? Is that an aluminum top? Is it a fiberglass top?
Yes to almost both.
Okay.
You have an extremely thin coating of aluminum, about
Not on
this much
top.
on top, and about this
No,
much.
the top is all fiberglass.
Not on mine, it wasn't.
mine.
Mine's
On mine,
aluminum.
it was a very thin aluminum,
Okay.
about 1.5 inches of high density styrofoam, and then that rat fur fiberboard on the underside. That's what mine had.
Okay.
What I did whenever I replaced my Skylight, because it had cracked, I removed the bottom one, removed the top one, got on a stool, standing there like this to the roof, finished the surface, and then reapplied either a new Skylight or, in your case, some other type of material.
What material would you recommend?
Aluminum, fiberglass.
Yeah, probably aluminum.
Yeah,
sheet.
sheet
Aluminum
aluminum.
sheet.
Easiest to
That'd be
work
my
with.
You can
guess.
get the same thin aluminum stuff. It's actually thinner even than what they make like highway signs out of.
Okay.
They'll steal you a big stop
And just
sign.
bolt it down and seal it.
Well, now, when you say bolt, you're dealing with just barely thousands of aluminum. Whenever I replaced mine, because I'm screwing the inside Skylight back up into styrofoam and fiberboard, you have to be very judicious with how much torque, because you'll strip it out in a heartbeat. Because it's styrofoam, so when you go back together from the top down with your aluminum, be careful, because you're going through just a millimeter of aluminum that's on the surface. While we're on the tops, on a 2000 model that I helped with, the seam on the top, in other words, the top of the Rialta is one piece of aluminum's topping and another piece, and they overlap. They put a seam down it to seal it. Well, the guy on the driver's side apparently was having a bad day because he didn't prep it correctly, and the sealant didn't adhere. So I had to line, and of course the leak is happening over here, but it surfaces over
Shows
here.
up somewhere else.
And so what I did was with my thumb, lifted it all up, cleaned it all up, resealed it, and that's it.
Thank you.
So I would suggest some sort of a good sealant, silicone or something like that when you go back together.
It's best not to use silicone.
Nope. that's
Dicon.
fine, okay?
Daikon or?
There's a better option.
There's a
Well,
sealant
there's,
guide.
it's too hard to make it stick good, and when you do, it's too hard to get it off.
So we'll use.
It's better to use self-leveling caulk on anything on the top.
Yeah,
Is that a dicon?
Dicor.
Yeah.
Dicor.
There is a sealant guide PDF that you can get for
Yeah.
each model year.
They use three,
Oh.
they only use 3 different sealants on there.
Okay, that take care of yours?
Yes, thank you.
I have a picture that I can show you what it looks like when you take the bottom part of the Skylight off. It shows
Oh,
that
okay.
layering. So when I patched the holes where the antenna and stuff went through, and I used like some JPB weld and thin aluminum, and then did Dicor around that.
JB Weld would probably be good.
Okay.
Get the one that's good for aluminum and or steel.
Yeah.
Get the
steel
good
weld.
stuff and clean everything up good so there's no paint there and everything.
Right.
And then
So I didn't
It
put
should
any
last forever.
screws in
Yeah.
it, and I'll just reseal it when I reseal my top, so I don't have, if I don't have to put the screw somewhere, I don't. And I was always kind of curious why the 2 pieces, is it for expansion instead of just 1 piece?
You talking about the top? I
Yeah,
think it's just the way they made it. It was just convenient to.
keep the piece a little bit smaller. Instead of having one
Yeah.
huge piece, they have 2 small pieces.
I do, but thank you.
One piece would have been so much
Well,
better.
today they may do that on that
Yeah.
rig. Even as good a thought as was put into the Rialta, there was some goofy things.
Got to dream big, or don't dream at all.